Welcome back, penguins, to the second part. After we went back home from the first time from Mementos, we went to Mementos to complete a request. While I was there, I tried to one-shot Caroline and Justine, but that wasn't a big brain move because I didn't even scratch them. After I reloaded a save, I talked with Jules to find out that you unlock a special ring from the first gameplay, but it's useless for this run, and that the new game plus is like cheating in Mementos. Let's go back to the request. This time I was less confident and took all the preparation needed. But the RNG was against me because the enemy used a special skill and it inflicted fear on Joker. After 2 rounds, finally Joker recovered, but I needed to recast all the buff and the debuff. And finally I was able to confirm that you can one-shot the enemy. Since I was there, I wanted to try the new ring. It's a really useful skill, but it's against every rules. While skipping a lot of things, I found myself doing the school exams. It was a breeze for someone that studied everything in another gameplay. Or at least Morgana says so, but I was skipping even that part. But the real important part was the man that was introduced for the failure of the first palace, Maruki. After his theatrical representation of my defeat, we had a little chat. I was so excited that I almost talked about my secret job, but my friends covered it for me. In the meantime, he tried to buy me with some snacks, but it didn't work for him. And that day we made a deal, my presents for some snacks. Even Anne was so excited about the snacks that she reached Maruki right away and talked about something else, but the crunch was too strong to hear what they were talking about. After the meeting, it was finally my time, and when I was reaching the room I saw Best Girl, Maruki and should I call Yoshizawa? The meeting was about snacks and a way to eat more snacks, and accepted right away. The day after, it was finally the time that the ex-Best Girl would appear. Yusuke. And our next target. Thanks to ex-Best Girl, we were invited to an exhibit so we could investigate more about the target. But it wasn't enough, so he invited us even to his house. Thanks to ex-Best Girl, we finally reached our next way to shine. And I hope that this time we won't disappoint anyone. But the one that disappointed someone was the game, because the first time you reach the palace, you can only admire for some time a painting about ex-Best Girl, and after that you go back home. In search of Yusuke blessing for targeting Madarame, we invaded his home. Maybe you want to know why Yusuke was Best Girl. Because Yusuke is everything a woman wants. He's tall, he's funny, and he's not interested in the other sex. That's why Yusuke is not a simp. After a little discussion of why Maruki is the new Best Girl, we even met the most useless confidant in the game. Thanks to Mishima, we met someone that gave us the blessing to target Madarame. I still don't know if she suspects us that we are defensive thieves or he knows. Finally, it was time for a real infiltration. But that wasn't the only good thing, because in this part you unlock the traits ability for Persona. In the palace you can find some infrared lasers, and they're good for a stupid montage. You can even show off to Yusuke painting while you're here. All for you, Yusuke. The enemies didn't create some problems for this challenge. All my experience in the first palace was finally paying off. Even Shikioji was one-shottable, without problems, and I expected from it a greater challenge. The best moment in the palace was when Morgana fell into a trap, and I was finally free from my companions. I tried to leave them, but the game was a little adamant about rescuing them. After rescuing Morgana, I could finally find out if the first treasure demon was one-shottable, and it was. I was bored because of the lack of a challenge that I started playing tag with some friends while showing off my gamer skills. I was so invested that I fell into a trap. At least someone was so smart to put the button to disabilitate the trap in the same room of the trap. And in the blink of an eye, the first part of the palace already ended, because of a door and some lasers. But you can enjoy the most satisfying door opening in the game. Since I couldn't continue the exploration, I asked again for help to ex-Best Girl. In exchange, he asked that chubby Anne. Thanks to his help, Morgana was able to unlock the real door to unlock the cognition door, because this door opening broke Madarame so that the real door was open, and the opened door modifies cognition about the real door That's why the cognition door finally opened as the real door. After the cognition door, there's a mini boss that was easily one-shottable, and this was for the best because you can't save in this section. In the meantime, Yusuke found out that Madarame was as bad as he thought. And thanks to this realization, my dream finally came true, a best girl falling from the sky in front of me. But this isn't the only good thing. The other one was ex-best girl awakening that brought us a new demise. Oh, why the demise? Because there's another fight after those fortunate events. And I didn't equip the auto buff persona. So I skipped a turn to buff Joker. I thought about using Ryuji with Darukaja to only raise the attack, and that was all I needed, but it was too late, because some enemies used taunt on our heroes, and after one miss, Yusuke was inflicted with rage. Even one shot, but the ability detox activated right away to try to save us. In that same moment, I saw ex-best girl betrayed us in front of my eyes. After this magnificent event, I tried to see if I could one-shot the enemies anyway. In a clarity moment, Yusuke tried to ask for forgiveness, but Madarame used that moment to inflict mental pain. I knew what I had to do, although that again the same moment I was able to do so. I repeat the process. This time, without losing the round, the change between one-shotting the enemies or repeat the last 30 minutes. This little venture brought Yusuke to join the Shot Penguin and this wonderful, fantastic, amazing best girl. Without losing time, we came back to the palace and chose right away the new nickname for ex-best girl. I don't need to tell you the one I picked personally for him. There's another reason why Yusuke was ex-best girl, because you can finally play alone and the RNG is 1 cent. But the palace good news were only at the start, because if you go back to the Weather room, you can rank up with the Strength Confidant, and unlock the skill that lets you create the persona we are going to use until the end of the challenge. Or at least I thought so. The game tried to screw me up in different ways, and this time, the perfect persona was reachable right away. So say hi to our little friend that needs only another level so you can unlock the right skill. Oh, and another sad news is, the next persona to rank up the twins doesn't have the skill required. Until I found out that you have all the skills right away thanks to the new Game Plus. Playing only with Joker was so strange that even the game asked me if I was sure. The second part of the palace was as easy as the first one. The enemies didn't put that much of a challenge. And our little friend was very useful for single and multi-enemies fight. Remember to run neon lasers with the third eye active, if you don't wanna find surprise. Bird of this palace, I tried a new challenge, outrun this enemy. And, as every challenge, I failed miserably. Scared that the enemies could make me fail the one-shot challenge in a way or another, I did a pro gamer move. A suicide attack, where the only one that didn't take damage was me. But as always, you don't need to listen to me. You know, failing the challenge I created at the last second wasn't enough for the game, because there's always the cherry on the cake. And in this game, the cherry is called Taunt. But the game didn't know that Best Girl gave me his blessing and saved me from another failure. Without even noticing, the last part of the palace was finally at hand. Only one thing was between me and the first challenge-friendly palace, and after took a long look at him, we were finally ready to play with a computer. The final part was easy. The only enemy that maybe could put up a fight didn't survive the first hit. We did a pretty good job for the first time that even the Weather room recognized our skills and gave us the electric chair for helping us in our adventure that we'll never use for this challenge. At least ex-best girl tried to cheer me up. After we found a way to steal the treasure, we were ready to send the calling card. And that's what I did right away. This time I had no excuse for one-shotting the boss. We stole the treasure right away, and while escaping, Madarame thought that he tricked us, but he didn't know that all of this was a trap by me so that I could one-shot him. This made him angry, so it became a 5-piece of art. And, as everybody expected, I one-shotted all of them in one shot, so this counts as a 5th shot. That means we failed the challenge. The game for revenge had a surprise for me, an all-out attack. That never happened. For the second part I was sure that all I needed was only to debuff the enemy, and to my surprise, it didn't work. At least I found out that you can one-shot the copies and they talk before attacking. I restarted the game right away with a plan in mind. Maybe I could use the button pass for more damage. So I added the others to the party, and as the first time, the 5 pieces of art were one-shottable. But the game's surprise was for this situation. And this time, the all-out attack activated. I was already there, so I tried to one-shot the boss anyway, just to see if the strategy would work. Ryuji has always failed to one-shot the copy, but who am I for judging him? When even I didn't one-shot the boss. I restarted the game right away so I could try the haze in the hole. The persona against the rules that can one-shot everything. The game was so tired of me that I started to give the katakana. As always, the first part didn't create problems. After took the preparation, I was ready to see Yoshitsune shine as always. And this unique attack wouldn't fail if I didn't forget one thing, to charge up one shot. The game auto-restarted with my help, so I could try one more time. I searched for the right equipment, but one that let me start with charge doesn't exist, so I took one that seemed useful. And this equipment changed my fate. As always, I one-shotted the 5 pieces of art, but something was different than the usual. The damage was reduced, and in that same moment I found out why I failed so many times. Because the second shot wasn't charged up. While for Yoshitsune, after the debuff on the boss and the charge in one shot, I was able to confirm that the boss doesn't survive with only one health. Now only one question remained. If I charge up one shot for the second part, would have I been able to one-shot the boss? So I restarted the game, hoping that this time was the last time, took a persona with concentrate, one-shotted the 5 pieces, debuffed the boss, charged one shot, and to my surprise, this was the first palace one-shottable from the start to this same moment. Ex-best girl flexed on Madarama about my skills. The boss, amazed, revealed us something about a black mask while his palace was falling apart. We did it, penguins. We did a really good job. Then Morgana ranked up. And now I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.